when I get the opportunity to fight with someone, I always used to think about what can I do to really shock the world. So with Islam, I'm like, to shock the world, I have to submit him. So this is what I think that's gonna happen. I'm gonna take him down and I'm gonna submit him.
Can I ask first and foremost, why did you feel so strongly that you would be on the card?
It may sound a little bit cocky, but I feel that I'm one of the biggest names right now that the UFC has. So if they are gonna have one of the biggest events in their history, they are gonna have, they have to have their biggest stars in that card. So I knew it since the first moment that event was announced that I will be in that card.
From the very first announcement, Ilia Topuria harbored an unshakable certainty he would be a part of that momentous event. More than a mere champion, Topuria sees himself as a self-anointed superstar, a force of nature driven by a profound belief in his destined ascent to absolute greatness within the UFC. This extraordinary self-assurance extends to every single athlete on the roster, controversially encompassing the reigning lightweight monarch, Islam Makhachev. This introductory segment brilliantly establishes Topuria's unwavering conviction, a confidence so deep it impels him to utter truly astonishing statements about other elite competitors. When one genuinely perceives themselves as the sport's biggest star, everyone else, even a seemingly invincible champion like Islam, might appear well overhyped. We are about to delve into why Ilia Topuria doesn't just casually label Islam as overrated, but why he genuinely holds this conviction, and what his audacious strategy was to validate it.
Audacious plan was to prove it.
Pretty confident that you're going to win in pretty violent fashion. You've already updated your bio.
I wouldn't even show up to that event, you know? I have a lot of confidence. I know that I'm going to win. I'm going to win. It's not only that I'm going to win in fashion. And I'm very happy to have an opponent like Justin Gaethje. He's a legend in the sports. He's the highlights. And I can't wait to share the octagon with him. I know that it's going to be a very entertaining fight for the fans.
Topuria's own words confirm his extraordinary confidence. He's not just sure, he's violently certain of his impending victories. This isn't merely boastful rhetoric, it's an intrinsic element of his fundamental fighting philosophy. While he acknowledges Justin Gaethje as a legendary figure, this respect does not diminish his absolute conviction that he operates on an entirely different plane. This specific clip powerfully highlights how Topuria perceives the entire division, viewing himself as unparalleled, capable of effortlessly dispatching any opponent, even a highlight reel fighter like Gaethje. This perspective is absolutely vital as it molds his assessment of all rivals, including Islam. If he can overcome a combatant of Gaethje's caliber with such apparent ease, then how significant a threat can anyone else truly present?
Anyone else truly be?
Normally, I'm the kind of guy that, in my head, whatever's gonna happen is good for me. But yeah, at some point, I was rooting for Paddy because I was thinking that fight will be much bigger than the Justin fight. But everything happens for a reason. You know what I mean?
Were you surprised that the fight played out that way?
I was a little surprised. Yeah, I was a little surprised of how bad Paddy really is.
You weren't expecting that. Were you expecting him to win?
I was expecting him to win, to be honest. I was expecting him to take Justin down, to, I don't know, to do a different fight, like to really fight, but...
Here, Ilia's distinctive "everyone is good, but I'm different" mentality truly begins to manifest. He openly admits that his initial preference was for a fight with Paddy Pimblett, not primarily because Pimblett posed a significant threat, but due to its much larger spectacle. However, his subsequent analysis of Pimblett's performance against Justin Gaethje reveals a profound sense of disappointment, bordering on contempt for what he witnessed. His surprise at how underwhelming Pimblett truly was, and his expectation for a distinctly different fight, underscores Topuria's exceptionally high standards. He clearly identifies a vast chasm between himself and what he considers a true top contender, implying that numerous fighters fail to live up to their hype, a group which, in his estimation, likely includes Islam.
In his estimation.
Of what he did inside the octagon in that fight, it surprised me a little bit. He really proved that he's a little sausage.
Do you think he can rebound from this?
Rebound from what? From a lose, of course, but how he's gonna gain the skills, the technique in the sport, like that's basically impossible. He needs to die and be burned again.
Basically impossible, he needs to die and be burned again. Ilia doesn't mince words here, intensifying his brutal judgment of Paddy Pimblett, branding him a little sausage, and questioning his very capacity to acquire advanced skills or technique, a truly scathing indictment. This isn't just a casual insult, it's a categorical dismissal of Pimblett's potential to ever ascend to an elite level. This extreme self-assurance and readiness to discount other fighters as fundamentally deficient in skill or technique is a core element of Ilia Topuria's psychological makeup. It is precisely this belief in his own insurmountable technical superiority that allows him to scrutinize seemingly dominant fighters like Islam, identifying perceived vulnerabilities, and perhaps even deeming their achievements to be inflated.
So we've heard, you talk about your tweets. I've seen Islam's tweets. I've seen your manager, Makhachev, tweets, one of your managers, Ali Abdelaziz, Dana White. Can you tell, what is the real story? Why isn't this fight happening on June 14th?
Listen, I don't know the real story. What I know is that since the first phone call that I get, I had like two options, Islam and Justin Gaethje. And we said like, we want Islam because it's bigger fight and all that. Then the day before that they were like about to announce the event, they called me in the middle of the night. They wake me up and they told me Islam is injured. Something happens with his hand or I don't know what, and you are gonna fight Justin.
I don't know what, and you're gonna fight Justin. This was the revelation everyone eagerly awaited. Ilia explicitly states that when presented with multiple options, he consciously selected Islam as his next opponent because it represented the more significant challenge, immediately dismantling any narrative suggesting he sought to avoid Makhachev. He then delivers the bombshell. Islam was injured and the fight subsequently fell through. While Ilia refrains from direct accusation, his recounting of these events carries a distinct undertone of skepticism, almost subtly implying that Islam's injury conveniently served as a reason for the bout not to materialize. This narrative, articulated directly by Ilia, portrays a scenario where he was fully prepared to confront the lightweight king, only for the opportunity to vanish due to circumstances surrounding his opponent, thus subtly fueling the perception that Islam may not be as eager or formidable as his reputation implies.
The idea that Islam may not be as eager or formidable as his reputation suggests.
Listen, as I said in many interviews, I just got the call. They offered me Islam or Justin. I picked Islam. Then they told me that Islam was injured. I was said that I was facing Justin. If they call me tomorrow and they tell me that Justin is injured and I have to fight Arman, I will fight Arman, no problem. If they call me and they tell me that Arman is injured, I have to fight Ariel, I'm gonna fight Ariel,
Please
no
don't.
problem. Like I can, I go.
I'm gonna find areas, please don't. Like I go whoever, whenever. This particular clip offers a masterclass in Ilia's pervasive anytime, anywhere, anyone mentality. He makes no distinction among Islam, Justin, Arman, or even the interviewer. To him, they are all merely names on a fight card. This unwavering willingness to face all challengers without hesitation or specific consideration for their individual skill sets perfectly encapsulates his conviction that he is the constant, the dominant force, and everyone else is simply an obstacle to be overcome. This implies a profound absence of intimidation or any special regard for a particular opponent, even Islam Makhachev. For Ilia, the outcome remains consistently the same, irrespective of who stands opposite him, further reinforcing the notion that no one, including Islam, truly stands out as an exceptional threat.
The idea that no one, including Islam, truly stands out as an exceptional threat.
Like what in particular? What makes you feel like he's done?
I don't know. Just fuck Arman. Who cares about him?
Okay.
I don't care.
Do you feel like the fight is bigger now, though?
The thing that I don't like is like when they play that they rich and they show all that money, and it's like, bro, you don't even rich. You that poor that the only thing that you have is money, and you are spending your father's money, not even yours. So you know what I mean. He's a fucking kid.
Ilia Topuria minces no words, and his blistering assessment of Arman Tsarukyan is nothing short of brutal. Labeling him a retard, a kid, and dumb goes beyond mere personal animosity. It represents a complete dismissal of Arman's maturity and intelligence, particularly concerning his perceived online persona. The accusation of spending your father's money further undermines any image of Tsarukyan being self-made. This aggressive and condescending tone directed at a top-ranked contender highlights Ilia's incredibly stringent criteria for what constitutes a legitimate threat or even a respectable opponent. If a fighter as formidable as Arman is subjected to such a scathing personal attack, it strongly suggests that Ilia views many other hyped contenders as equally deficient, potentially extending this assessment to Islam Makhachev in certain aspects.
Even Islam Makhachev in certain aspects.
Of the video that I posted, he tweets something in tweet or something like, if I see you the next time, I do this or that. Like, you know how they play like they all gangsters. And when we cross the paths, they are like, oh, how are you? All good. They smile. They like humble. Normal human beings. But in Twitter, everyone is a gangster. Everyone is like, oh, let's solve this in the street and all that. Bro, I'm a professional athlete. I'm not a street fighter. I'm not a gangster. You know what I mean?
Lead, I'm not a street fighter. I'm not a gangster. You know what I mean. This segment provides a fascinating window into Ilia's profound disdain for what he perceives as counterfeit bravado within the MMA landscape. He directly challenges fighters who project a gangster persona on social media, only to revert to a humble and conventional demeanor in person. This critique isn't exclusively aimed at Arman. It represents a broader commentary on the authenticity, or lack thereof, of many competitors. Ilia pointedly asserts his identity as a professional athlete, distinct from a street fighter or a gangster. This underlying frustration with perceived inauthenticity and manufactured hype permeates his view of the sport's entire ecosystem. It's not a stretch to imagine him scrutinizing certain aspects of Islam Makhachev's aura and dominance as potentially engineered, or, at the very least, unduly amplified by an accommodating media and fanbase, rather than being purely earned through merit.
By a compliant media and fanbase, rather than purely earned.
What about the fight against Islam? In your opinion, how would it have played out?
When I get the opportunity to fight with someone, I always used to think about what can I do to really shock the world. So with Islam, I'm like, to shock the world, I have to submit him. So this is what I think that's gonna happen. I'm gonna take him down and I'm gonna submit him.
Wow. Early, late, what are you feeling?
Wow, yeah, like your promotion. Wow, I know that. Now, this is truly the pivotal moment. The declaration that sent shockwaves throughout the entire UFC world saw Ilia Topuria, a striker renowned for his devastating knockout power, openly proclaim his intention to astonish everyone by submitting Islam Makhachev. Let that profound statement resonate. Islam, widely celebrated as one of UFC history's premier grapplers and the perceived successor to Khabib's Dagestani wrestling dynasty, is not only expected to be defeated but to be submitted by Topuria. This transcends mere confidence. It is an audacious, direct challenge to Islam's greatest perceived strength. It serves as the ultimate proclamation that Ilia profoundly views Islam's grappling capabilities as significantly overrated. Confident that he possesses the unique skills to dismantle the Dagestani champion within his own domain.
The Dagestani champion in his own domain.
And so,
I'm the GOAT. Nah.
are you? Do you feel that way?
Nah. Not really.
I think
Not
you
really.
do.
I don't like to claim myself as the GOAT of the sport. I always like to leave those decisions to the fans. They are the people that happen, like the ones that take that decision.
Do you think you're number one pound for pound?
Of course. It's not that I think, I know so.
Of course, it's not that I think I know so. Here, Ilia Topuria firmly entrenches his self-perception at the absolute zenith of the sport. While he humbly attributes the GOAT title to the fans, he harbors absolutely no doubt when questioned about being the pound-for-pound number one. His retort, of course, "It's not that I think I know so," isn't arrogance to him, it's an undeniable truth. When a fighter genuinely believes they are the planet's best pound-for-pound combatant, it intrinsically implies that every other champion or highly ranked fighter, regardless of their individual accomplishments or perceived dominance, operates at a level beneath them. This inherently includes Islam Makhachev, solidifying Ilia's perspective that Islam's achievements, while impressive, do not necessarily elevate him above El Matador.
That Islam's achievements, while impressive, don't necessarily place him above El Matador.
And one could argue that that would be the biggest fight in the UFC by far, you versus him. Is this something that you're thinking about? Is this something that's on your radar?
Probably it's not on my radar, but if I get offered that about that fight, we'll see on where Conor's gonna be at that point. If he gets a win, a great comeback, he wins his next fight, and I get offered that fight, we'll see.
It's not something you'll ask for?
I never close the doors for those kind of opportunities, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Even if we are not on the same level right now, maybe on the popularity and all that, like he's popular and a lot of people knows about him, but as sports wise, we all know that he's almost done.
Ilia's remarks regarding Conor McGregor further illuminate his stark honesty and his purely sport-centric evaluation of fighters. While acknowledging McGregor's immense popularity and the considerable financial incentive of a potential bout, he swiftly dismisses Conor's current fighting aptitude, stating bluntly, sports-wise, we all know that he's almost done. This isn't a personal attack. It's a cold, hard assessment of a legend past his prime. The same critical lens Ilia applies to McGregor, adeptly separating hype from actual fighting ability, is undoubtedly the same lens he uses for other highly touted fighters. This capacity to look beyond superficial appeal and judge pure skill enables him to scrutinize even dominant champions like Islam Makhachev, and conclude that their perceived invincibility might in reality be quite overrated.
Might be in reality quite overrated.
If he's not gonna start walking backward, I'm gonna knock him out in the first round.
Wow. So you think...
Like, as I always say, I feel that no one can match my level of skills inside the octagon. And when I say that, they start calling me that I'm cocky, that I'm this, that I'm that, but prove me wrong. Like, prove me wrong.
That hasn't happened yet.
It didn't happen yet.
This clip perfectly encapsulates Ilia's supreme confidence in his singular skill set, a conviction that forms the very foundation of his belief that Islam is overrated. When he declares, no one can match my level of skills inside the octagon, it's not presented as an idle boast, but as a deep-seated conviction that regardless of the opponent, he possesses an unanswerable advantage. He actively challenges others to prove me wrong, a challenge that to this day remains unmet. This profound self-belief ensures he approaches every potential matchup, including one against Islam Makhachev, not as a perilous test of his abilities, but as yet another opportunity to unmistakably demonstrate his unparalleled talent. For Ilia, Islam, just like all other contenders, simply hasn't proven he can stand up to that distinct level of skill.